Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Kalachandji, Radha Kalachandji Radhe. Jaya Radha Kalachandji, Radha Kalachandji Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's chant this together. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavati sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hari Bol. Thank you so much for joining the class. Today, so we're on Canto 8th, Chapter 11, and which is titled King Indra Annihilates the Demons. So we're going to cover a big portion of this chapter. Actually, we're going to complete this chapter, which is like 39 verses from text 10 to the last verse 48. So it's about 39 verses. We have around, maybe we can have each person speaking 3 verses so that we don't have to keep coming back and we don't take a lot of time for that. Text 10.
Shukadeva Goswami said, after thus rebuking Indra, king of heaven, with sharp words, Bali Maharaj, who could subdue any other hero, drew back to his ear the arrows known as Narachas and attacked Indra with these arrows. Then he again chastised Indra with strong words. Since Maharaj's rebukes were truthful, King Indra did not at all become sorry. Just as an elephant beaten by its driver's roar does not become agitated, when Indra, the defeater of enemies, released his infallible thunderbolt scepter at Bali Maharaj with a desire to kill him, Bali Maharaj indeed fell to the ground with his aeroplane like a mountain with its wings cut off.
When the demon Jambasura saw that his friend Bali had fallen, he appeared before Indra, the enemy, just to serve Bali Maharaj with friendly behavior. The greatly powerful Jambasura, carried by a lion, approached Indra and forcibly struck him on the shoulder with his club. He also struck Indra's elephant. Being beaten by Jambasura's club, Indra's elephant was confused and aggrieved. Thus it touched its knees to the ground and fell unconscious.
Thereafter, Matali, Indra's chariot driver, brought Indra's chariot, which was drawn by 1,000 horses. Indra then left his elephant and got onto the chariot. Appreciating Matali's service, Jambasura, the best of the demons, smiled. Nonetheless, he struck Matali in the battle with a trident of blazing fire. Although the pain was extremely severe, Matali tolerated it with great patience. Indra, however, became extremely angry at Jambasura. He struck Jambasura with his thunderbolt and thus severed his head from his body.
When Narada Rishi informed Jambasura's friend and relatives that Jambasura had been killed, the 3 demons named Namuchi, Bala and Paka arrived on the battlefield in great haste, rebuking Indra with harsh, cruel words that were piercing to the heart. These demons showered him with arrows just as torrent of rain wash a great mountain. Quickly handling the situation on the battlefield, the demon Bala put all of Indra's 1,000 horses into tribulation by simultaneously piercing them all with an equal number of arrows.
Paka, another demon, attacked both the chariot with all its paraphernalia and the chariot driver Matali by fitting 200 arrows to his bow and releasing them all simultaneously. This was indeed a wonderful act on the battlefield. Then Namuchi, another demon, attacked Indra and injured him with 15 very powerful golden feathered arrows, which roared like a cloud full of water. Other demons covered Indra along with his chariot and the chariot driver with incessant showers of arrows, just as clouds cover the sun in the rainy season.
The demigods, being severely oppressed by their enemies and being unable to see Indra on the battlefield, were very anxious, having no captain or leader. They began lamenting like traders in a brick vessel in the midst of the ocean. Thereafter, Indra released himself from the cage of the network of arrows, appearing with his chariot, flag, horses, and chariot driver, and thus pleasing the sky, the earth, and all directions. He shone impudently like the sun at the end of night. Indra was bright and beautiful in the vision of everyone.
When Indra, who is known as Vajradhara, the carrier of the thunderbolt, saw his own soldiers so oppressed by the enemies on the battlefield, he became very angry. Thus he took up his thunderbolt to kill the enemies. O King Parikshit, King Indra used his thunderbolt to cut off the heads of both Bali and Baka in the presence of all their relatives and followers. In this way, he created a very fearful atmosphere on the battlefield.
Text 29. O king, when Namuchi, another demon, saw the killing of both Bala and Paka, he was full of grief and lamentation. Thus he angrily made a great attempt to kill Indra. Text 30. Being angry and roaring like a lion, the demon Namuchi took up a steel spear which was bound with bells and decorated with ornaments of gold. He loudly cried, "Now you are killed!" Thus coming before Indra to kill him, Namuchi released his weapon. Text 31. O king, when Indra, king of heaven, saw this very powerful spear falling toward the ground like a blazing meteor, he immediately cut it to pieces with his arrows. Then being very angry, he struck Namuchi's shoulder with his thunderbolt to cut off Namuchi's head.
Although King Indra hurled his thunderbolt at Namuchi with great force, it could not even pierce his skin. It is very wonderful that the famed thunderbolt that had pierced the body of Vritrasura could not even slightly injure the skin of Namuchi's neck. When Indra saw the thunderbolt return from the enemy, he was very much afraid. He began to wonder whether this had happened because of some miraculous superior power. Indra thought, "Formerly, when many mountains flying in the sky with wings would fall to the ground and kill people, I cut their wings with this same thunderbolt."
Vritrasura was the essence of the austerities undergone by Twasta, yet the thunderbolt killed him. Indeed, not only he, but also many other stalwart heroes whose very skin could not be injured even by all kinds of weapons were killed by the same thunderbolt. But now, although the same thunderbolt has been released against a less important demon, it has been ineffectual. Therefore, although it was as good as a Brahmastra,
It has now become useless, like an ordinary rod. I shall therefore hold it no longer. Shukadev Goswami continued, while the morose Indra was lamenting in this way, an ominous, unembodied voice said from the sky, this demon Namuchi is not to be annihilated by anything dry or moist.
The voice also said, O Indra, because I have given this demon the benediction that he will never be killed by any weapon that is dry or moist, you have to think of another way to kill him. After hearing the ominous voice, Indra, with great attention, began to meditate on how to kill the demon. He then saw that foam would be the means, for it is neither moist nor dry. Thus Indra, king of heaven, severed Namuchi's head with a weapon of foam, which was neither dry nor moist. Then all the sages satisfied Indra, the exalted personality, by showering flowers and garlands upon him, almost covering him.
Vishvavasu and Paravasu, the two chiefs of the Gandharvas, sang in great happiness. The kettle drums of the demigods sounded, and the Apsaras danced in jubilation. Vayu, Agni, Varuna, and other demigods began killing the demons who opposed them, just as lions kill deer in a forest. O king, when Lord Brahma saw the imminent total annihilation of the demons, he sent a message with Narada, who went before the demigods to make them stop fighting.
Yeah, we can have it here. The great sage Narada said, all of you demigods are protected by the arms of Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by his grace you have gotten the nectar. By the grace of the Goddess of Fortune you are glorious in every way. Therefore please stop this fighting. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, accepting the words of Narada, the demigods gave up their anger and stopped fighting. Being praised by their followers, they returned to their heavenly planets. Following the order of Narada Muni, whatever demons remained on the battlefield took Bali Maharaj, who was in a precarious condition, to the hill known as Astagiri.
Text 47. There, on that hill, Shukracharya brought to life all the dead demoniac soldiers who had not lost their heads, trunks, and limbs. He achieved this by his own mantra, known as Shamjivani. Text 48. Bali Maharaj was very experienced in universal affairs. When he regained his senses and memory by the grace of Shukracharya, he could understand everything that had happened. Therefore, although he had been defeated, he did not lament.
Thank you so much. This is our verse for today, text 48. You can recite this. Please recite after me. Balishchoshana sasprishtaha pratyapanendriya smritihi parajitopi nakhidya lokatattva vichakshanaha. Balishchoshana sasprishta pratyapanendriya smritihi parajitopi nakhidya lokatattva vichakshanaha. Please recite. Balishchoshana sasprishta pratyapanendriya smritihi parajitopi nakhidya lokatattva vichakshanaha. Balishchoshana sasprishta pratyapanendriya smritihi parajitopi nakhidya lokatattva vichakshanaha. Balishoshan Sasprishta Satyapanendriya Smitihi Parajitopi Nakhidya Lokatattva Vichakshanaha. Anybody else? Balishoshan Sasprishta Satyapanendriya Smitihi Parajitopi Nakhidya Lokatattva Vichakshanaha. We'll read word to word translation together. Balihi, Maharaj Bali, Cha, also, Ushanasha, by Shukracharya, Sprishtaha, being touched, Pratyapana, was brought back, Indriya Smitihi, realization of the actions of the senses and memory, Parajitaha, he was defeated, Api, although, Na Akhidyat, he did not lament, Lokatattva Vichakshanaha, because he was very experienced in universal affairs. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bali Maharaj was very experienced in universal affairs. When he regained his senses and memory by the grace of Shukracharya, he could understand everything that had happened. Therefore, although he had been defeated, he did not lament. It is significant that Bali Maharaj is here said to be very experienced. Although defeated, he was not at all sorry, for he knew that nothing can take place without the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since he was a devotee, he accepted his defeat without lamentation. As stated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita 2.47, Karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan. Everyone in Krishna consciousness should execute his duty without regard for victory or defeat. One must execute his duty as ordered by Krishna or his representative, the spiritual master. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. In first-class devotion service, one always abides by the orders and will of Krishna. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of 8th canto, 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Indra Annihilates the Demons. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parishana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtha Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So it's a very interesting to read this fight, the battle that's happening between the demigods and the demons. And who do you think is the hero in this so far you've read? Indra? Balimaraj or the weapon of foam? Who's the hero? It's actually Bali Maharaj, because we see Indra went through so many fluctuation of emotions. Yes, he is in power. He's the king of the demigods. He's so-called, he has this great weapon that could pierce through anybody's skin. Anybody can be destroyed by that. But the greatest learning that Srimad Bhagavatam is giving over here is that if you're in, it doesn't matter if you're in highest power, if you have fame, if you have everything, that's not your qualification of being a devotee. But even if you've lost everything and you have been defeated and something's been taken away from you or everything has been taken away from you, how you respond in that situation shows how much devotion you actually have. And in this fight, we see so many times the demons were winning and the demigods were winning and the demons were killed and then again they were brought back to life. A lot of mystical powers were here involved here. And there came a point when this particular demon Indra was not able to kill, because he had some benediction that he could not be killed by a weapon which is dry or moist. And then Indra had to come up with a weapon made of foam, and then he was able to kill the demon. So very interesting, if you visualize the whole war, the whole battle, it's pretty intense, and if you read the purports, you get quite involved in it. But we see how Bali Maharaj, the hero of this entire fight that we see, and in the further chapters also we're going to hear about glories of Bali Maharaj. He realized that they were defeated, but he did not lament at all, because he realized that this was this will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So who is Bali Maharaj? We all know. Any past? We have heard this name before. Bali Maharaj, right? He's one of the 12 Mahajanas in the devotional, the amazing devotees that we have, the 12 great practitioners. We have one of them is Bali Maharaj. He's the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. Imagine being grandson of the great devotee Prahlad in that lineage, even though he's born in the family of demons, right? Prahlad was also born in a family of demons. That's why a lot of demigods wanted to kill him while he was in the womb of Mother Kayadu. But who came to save Bhakt Prahlad? His spiritual master, Narad Muni. So he saved Prahlad Maharaj, and his grandson, Bali Maharaj, also being part of the family of demons. But he has always shown, no matter he had power or everything in his favor, he was still humble, and he still had affection for the Lord. And so when Vaman Dev came, Bali Maharaj was warned by his spiritual master, Shukracharya, hey, this is Vishnu. He's going to take away everything from you. Now in that kind of situation, if you're told, this person will take away everything from you, this person is the Supreme Person, we might still want to hide, or we might still want to be like, okay, Krishna, don't take everything from me, just leave my family with me, leave my job with me, leave this thing with me. We'll try to protect things we are attached to. But Bali Maharaj did not care about it. He was warned about it, but he said, no, it's okay, he's the Supreme Lord, and this is an opportunity for me to offer everything to the Lord. And that's when Vaman Dev, on the third step, Bali Maharaj offered himself, spiritually, physically, everything he offered. And so this is what we need to learn, that Krishna is not seeing how much you're actually giving him, but he's also seeing how much you're holding back. There are so many things that we are holding back from Kalachanji. Like, there are things we are giving, we're probably giving some donation, we are probably coming here every day, but there are a lot of deep-rooted attachments that we still have in our hearts, in our minds. And we need to, at some point, come to this stage where we're able to offer everything to the Lord. We are not there yet, of course. I can speak for myself that I'm far from being in that position where I can say, okay, Kalachandji, everything is yours. Like, I know this theoretically, but even when we come into spirituality, we gain that pride, right? We have that pride of position, or we have pride of how advanced I am in Krishna consciousness in the last 10 years, 20 years. But we really need to, that's why we really need to reflect and offer these prayers to Krishna every single day, that whatever I am receiving, whatever has been cultivated in this path is all given by you, Krishna. I have not done anything. Yes, we can make the endeavor, which we have to do till the last breath. But still, the consciousness is that even then, it is given by Krishna, because that's the ultimate truth. Imagine like we thinking, oh, I go to Darshanarti every day, or I attend Mangalarti every day. See, I'm doing this. But do you think that's happening without the mercy of Kalachandji, that we are all sitting here? Is that happening by our own will? No. Krishna wants you to be here. You had the desire, but he made it happen. And so that's what we can do. We can continue to desire. But how can we continue to desire what is right? How can we continue to have the right kind of desire? By associating with the people who have the right desires. Like our spiritual master, who's the representative of Krishna, or devotees around us. So if we associate with people who have amazing spiritual desires, even we can start having those desires at one point. And then Krishna will sanction it. Krishna will be like, okay, tick, this devotee is trying. This person is trying so hard that this person wants to attend Srimad Bhagavatam class every day. And I see so many of you for last few years, every day, they've been coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class. This is a very strong spiritual practice. It's a very strong sadhana. And so to develop this surrenderance like Bali Maharaj had, we need to develop the strong sadhana and the strong desire that Krishna, whatever I am doing for you is because of you only. And also maybe we can ask ourselves, time to time, what am I still holding back? What am I still not revealing to Krishna? Krishna already knows what you're hiding, but what am I still, it could be holding back, that compassion towards other living entities. If I'm holding back my compassion, I'm only being compassionate in temple, but when I go outside the temple, I'm being not so compassionate. So Krishna is seeing that. And so this last line of this verse is so important, that in first class devotional service, one always abides by the orders and will of Krishna. That is the first class bhakti. To abide by the will of Krishna, not my will. Sometimes we think, oh, I think I'm progressing in bhakti because all my prayers are being answered by Krishna. I prayed for this happened. Last year I prayed, this happened. So I think my relationship, connection is so strong with Kalachandji now that he's answering all my prayers. I think I don't want to say, but I think I'm doing really good as a devotee, But real progress and first class devotion is when I accept Krishna's will, even if it's not in my favor. And that's when it's more important, when it's not in my favor, and I accept that maybe Krishna wants this. And it's very hard, it's so easy to say, but when things don't go our way, we hear through some devotee at that point that, maybe this is best for your Krishna consciousness. And then it hits bam, like, okay, I kept preaching about it, but yeah, I think this is Krishna's will and I need to accept it. I need to accept that Krishna knows the best for me. There's this bhajan, right, in Hindi, which says that don't go to this, near this ghat, near Yamuna, because if you go there, this bluish, blackish boy will come and steal your heart. It's not just your heart, he's going to steal everything away. Don't go there. It's like giving you a warning that getting attracted to Krishna is not a small thing. He probably is going to take away everything. Devotees get warned by it and they still go. And they still, because think about your journey in Krishna consciousness, people who have been in many, many years. I'm sure we have lost a lot of things. We have gained a lot of things. We've had a lot of growth that has taken place. And how do you think growth happens? When you keep gaining? When everything is going happy in your life? La la land? No. Growth happens when you're hurt. You lose something. And then you go in that zone of, okay, why did this happen? Okay, maybe Krishna wanted this. But still, you go in that mode of thinking, and then you become more resilient with time. You apply the learnings that you hear in the classes, or maybe just one learning, and then you're like, okay, this went away from my life. Maybe this job, this relationship, my health went for a toss. It could be anything. We all keep losing so many things. I mean, not losing, that's a big word, but we keep going through a lot of challenges, a lot of impediments in our lives. And it's very normal. But how we bounce back, that's also Krishna who was holding you when you were in shelter. Maybe you were chanting and you were saying, Krishna, I know I'm just so sad. I cannot take this out of my mind, out of my heart. But, I belong to you. I one day want to just, be able to detach myself, but I'm not there yet. So the first thing is to be, if you want to be completely dependent on Krishna, is to be extremely honest in this relationship you have with the Lord. So we have a relationship with the Lord, right? Sambandha, we all have a relationship, and that relationship is Jivira Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. I am the eternal servant of Krishna. That is my position. And in this relationship, if I want to strengthen it, if I want to be the favorite servant of Krishna, if I want to love Krishna to the maximum capacity that I have in my heart, with all my power, Krishna will notice it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, right? I don't know the exact wording, somebody can correct me, but pray in such a way that that Krishna notices you. Like your bhakti should please Krishna in a way that he starts noticing your efforts. And how would you make somebody notice the efforts you're making? When you don't give up. When Brajbihari Prabhu was here, he said this phrase that he heard from one of the Prabhupada disciples he met a few months ago was, just don't give up. In bhakti, you're doing it, keep going, just never give up. And so that's like our motto every single day, reminding ourselves that I am doing this for you, Krishna. Some days I have 10% energy, some days I have 99% energy, some days maybe jumping through the roof, 150%, but I'm all in here for you, Krishna. And so when we reflect every day in this this relationship with the Lord, we start becoming more and more dependent, because we realize actually there's only one constant in our life. It's just one constant. Through all the lifetimes, even this body doesn't stay with us, right? Maybe I was a cat, I was a lion, I was a cockroach, I was a demon, I was a peacock, and now I'm this human, maybe next birth, I don't know where I am. So even the body does not stay with you, which you had so attached to, grooming all the time since, like, let's say 80 years of life, 100 years. But even that doesn't stay with us. Only Krishna stays, because the soul is traveling, and within the soul, who is residing? Krishna. So I'll just pause here, and I would love to hear your realizations from this pastime, or maybe about how to be more surrendered to the Lord, how to be more dependent on the Lord.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the nice class. Always good to hear your classes. I'm trying to understand. We see a kind of a common theme where these demon devotees are like totally annihilating the devotees. They're, killing them. Vritrasura was eating them. He's eating the devotees, and they're fighting with Indra. And I'm having a hard time understanding if Bali Maharaj is like surrendered to the Supreme Lord and he knows that the Supreme Lord is controlling everything. Why is he fighting for the nectar? Why is he not, on the side of the Supreme Lord? The Supreme Lord is actually dispelling Bali Maharaj's illusions. So I'm bewildered in this way. Can you please help?
Yeah, it's a nice question to think. I think this sentence came where it said that we need to perform our prescribed duty. I don't know, the duty of a demon is to fight with the demigods or what, but what I think, what my understanding is that this is all a pastime for us to get teachings and learnings from. Not that it's all fantasy, because it really happened. Srimad Bhagavatam is narrating these incidents. But even though he was in a demon family, maybe our takeaway is that no matter what family you're born in, no matter whatever situation, whatever body you have, you can still practice devotional service despite of all of that. And just like even it bewilders to so many people when we say, oh, why did Bhishma Pitama fight from Kaurava's side? Why did he not support the Pandavas? Because he knew, okay, that's the Supreme Lord, and if Krishna is supporting Pandavas, then as a devotee, I need to be supporting the Pandavas as well. But then he also had some prescribed duty, and the higher mood was that he wanted to see Krishna face to face on the battlefield and enjoy his Veer Rasya, which is chivalry rasya, I think that's what we call. But yeah, I think, I might be wrong, but it's all a pastime and we're all getting learnings from these exchanges of different devotees and demons disguised as devotees. And also that he had prescribed duties that he had to perform, and his instruction of Shukracharya, the spiritual master, that he had to fulfill. But still the higher thing is that he was in the mood of being servant of the Lord, rather than Indra. Indra, in so many pastimes we see he's the demigod, but he's a so-called demigod where he's kind of, being so puffed up, getting all the pride and ego, but still he's the king of the demigods. So it doesn't really matter what position you have, but the consciousness is higher than that, what I think.
Yeah, thank you. You reminded me of another section where Kapila Dev's father, he leaves home, even though his son is the Supreme Lord. Still he says, oh, this is my service to leave home. Yeah. So he leaves home and Kapila instructs Devahuti. So thank you.
That's a nice point.
What Drishtadyumna was saying, because of course we see ourselves and our situations in these pastimes also. So we're feeling like, like in Krishna consciousness, no matter where you come from, once you take to the association of devotees, your past is your past. And so like Bali Maharaj, we know is a devotee, but Narada Muni came and he said, okay, Narada Muni didn't give shelter to Bali Maharaj. He said, you go to Shukracharya. Yeah. And then Shukracharya Bali Maharaj accepted Shukracharya as his guru because Shukracharya brought him back to life. So out of obligation for that, he took shelter of that. And so it feels like the fact that he was born in a demon family became like the thing that he was tied to, no matter that he was a devotee. So it feels a little like unjust, even though Indra is making so many mistakes. He's been, so there's a little bit of injustice. I mean, of course, in Krishna's plan there is none, but feels like that.
Life is not fair. But yeah, I think if all the pastimes made sense, complete sense to our human minds, we would not like, oh, we've understood it now, move on. But this is, I mean, that's just me answering in a very weird way. But yeah, I think we need to appreciate the mood of all the devotees, like Indra. Now we think that, oh, why did he send 7 day, 7 night rain in Vrindavan, right? Destroying all the homes and torturing devotees. But Krishna really loved that internally because he got to spend those 7 days and 7 nights with his Brajvasis. And we still be like, still he bothered the devotees and still he bothered Krishna. But Krishna is seeing something else here. Sometimes the pastimes may have a different, it's actually one answer. It's all happening because of will of Krishna. If he wants Indra to get fame, okay, Krishna wants it, no questions are asked, like, okay, Krishna wants this. But Bali Maharaj, even Prahlad Maharaj went through so much, and then Lord Nrsimhadev appeared. So devotees go through a lot. And that's the test that they have to, that's the proof they give that, okay, this is how much they love the Lord, even if they are criticized. Bhishma Pitama was so much criticized for being for doing what he did, supporting Kauravas, not saying anything in the room where Draupadi was disrobed. Even Kripacharya, Dronacharya, everybody was criticized, but they tolerated all of that because they know why this is happening. So sometimes, like Bali Maharaj also tolerated so much. So I think it's all, like Bhakti, Krishna's teaching is not, okay, always being shiny, you're on top position and everything is happening. No, it's probably standing at the back, like Haridas Thakur being whipped all the, through 22 marketplaces. But still, Krishna loves your heart. And that's what he wants to see. How much you're tolerating, how much you're standing through the turbulences, how much you've done, but still want to be in a humble position that I've not done anything. Like Ambrish Maharaj, right? Durvasa Muni criticized him, gave him what do you call shrap? He cursed him. And who came to rescue him? The chakra of Vishnu. Even though Ambrish Maharaj still said, it's okay, it's my mistake. He was still in that humble position. But if we are there, we'll be like, Krishna, where's your chakra? Be there for me, support me, send somebody to save me. What are you doing? But devotees never think like that. So it's nice that we are thinking on behalf of Bali Maharaj and all of that, but that's what they are teaching through their example. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
It's always the wife who laughs first.
I wanted to appreciate this wonderful discussion. What came to me is what Hiranyakashipu quotes in 7th canto. He actually says that Vishnu become impartial, because he said actually God should be impartial. So Vishnu become partial. Actually, God should be equal to everyone. But he killed my brother Hiranyaksha. See, he accused God, accused Vishnu, saying like, now he is not equal. What is this? Why he prefers demigods? And from Krishna's point of view, what came to my mind is when Arjuna and Arjuna came with his, what was his present brain? They came to Krishna to ask army or Krishna, and Duryodhana, yes, and Duryodhana he chose. Okay, I take, and Arjuna had a choice to choose first, and he chose Krishna. But then Duryodhana he chose army of Krishna. But Krishna he actually helped both of them. So he was, because again there was, as you wonderfully said, there's obligations and duties, because Krishna actually was a relative. And simultaneously Krishna's brother Balaram, he liked Duryodhana so much. So he was his affection, he actually liked him more than Arjuna. So it's, what came to my mind is, it's like wonderfully described as pastimes. And in the material world we tend to see things in black and white, that it's all just right or wrong. But in spiritual realm, and since it's spiritual scripture, and all this happening is spiritual, actually so multicolored. So it's not that simple. So we can just put it in categories and boxes and say this is demon, this is demigod, and like we read so many stories how you also described how Indra, he accused devotees and he fights with a devotee and he actually kills Ritrasura and he kills a devotee, and it's a great sin. And simultaneously, the demons, they attack devotees. And so it's like in the case of Ritrasura, it was upside down, the situation. So it's always like interchange, and it's not like always in our capacity to understand, but as you nicely described, that ultimately it's Krishna's will which is behind that. That is inconceivable achintya potency. It is because Jiva Goswami in his Santarbha he described to really understand Krishna, you have to accept that you actually cannot understand him. Then you can understand. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. We wanted to, Prabhupada Priya Mataji wants to say something.
Hare Krishna. Well, I was going to make a similar point. Well, I had a couple of things I wanted to say. One was a similar point to what Gopal Krishna Prabhu said, that there are these gray areas that, but I think it's, it teaches us something about human nature, you know, that people are not all good and all bad, but someone like Indra is essentially a good person, but sometimes he gets confused, bewildered, makes mistakes, does dumb things, right? Yeah. So in the same way, you know, but he's still a devotee because he's aligned with the Lord. His ultimate purpose is to serve the Lord, please the Lord, like that. Whereas demons can sometimes do good things and be nice, right? And even, you know, understand the philosophy and things like that. But ultimately they're atheists. They're against the principle of surrender to the Supreme Lord. So that's why they get classified that way. But it's not that they're all, you know, big, you know, three-eyed, war on the nose, horns on the head demons. You know, it's like some demons are actually nice people, but they just are atheists. So they're against the principle of surrender to the Lord. So it goes a little deeper than just what we say and what we do, but it's like how we identify ourselves and what is our relationship with the Lord that really defines who we are. And so we also have to be careful, you know, like amongst each other as devotees, and not demonize devotees who actually really do want to surrender to the Lord and please the Lord, but sometimes make mistakes or say or do things that don't look very devotional, right? In the same way that Krishna always forgives Indra, even when he tries to kill, you know, his beloved eternal associates in Vrindavan. So, of course, that's extreme. Hopefully no one's going to do that. But the principle is there, that devotees do sometimes bad things, but as long as they're just, you know, continue surrendering to Krishna, then we have to accept them as devotees. Another thing I observed when we were reading through all the verses was how there's so many instances where these personalities are not like, they're not defending themselves or fighting to, you know, protect themselves, but almost every case they're getting inspired when someone else is hurt, right? So you see, like, it says that this Jambasura, when he saw that Bali had fallen, then he jumped up and he approached Indra and hit him on the shoulder and hit his elephant. And then Matali, when he saw that Indra was hurt, then he got up and he started
brought the chariot and
and it just goes on and on. Like, I just thought that was really interesting. And sometimes we hear about how when people offend us, insult us or mistreat us, then we shouldn't retaliate. Right? We should just be humble and accept everything as Krishna's mercy. Tate nukampa. This is due to my past karma. But then we need to have devotee friends who will stand up for us and not allow that person to go on, you know, abusing us or insulting us, and be like, hey, what are you saying? That person's a nice devotee, leave them. So we need to do that for each other, right? We can't just see that someone is being hurt or defamed or something. It's our duty as friends and community members to protect each other. And then if we're confident that we have a lot of people ready to stand up for us, then we can just be humble and take it and not worry about, not get into defensive mode. And that's really good for our bhakti.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I loved all the points you made. It's very nice for us to reflect. Anybody else? Okay, I think we can wrap up here. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnava Patvind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.